Why would you allow me travel with a device like this on the airplane? Nobody's stopping me, nobody's asking questions, nobody's wondering what it is. The OMG cable on the airplane, my Wi-Fi pineapple on the airplane, my People Zero. Like, why? Nobody has ever stopped me. Look, yeah, there are some devices that should not even be allowed on the plane at all. I've traveled multiple times with these devices on me and nobody has ever stopped me to ask, what are these devices? What do they do? Why are you traveling with them? Why are you taking them into the cabin? Like, why? Nobody has ever stopped me. And I'm talking about like some dangerous devices that can actually be used to interfere with some communication system or even take over the Wi-Fi on a plane for planes that have Wi-Fi and become the man in the middle, intercept users' network or the airline's customers network. And people think they're still interacting or using the airline's Wi-Fi, but they are now using my own Wi-Fi. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but yeah, they should not be allowed. I mean, let me show you some of them so you can see what they look like. These are just some of them, not all. Why would you allow me travel with a device like this, especially when combined with a laptop? I travel with these devices sometimes and I still have my Surface Pro that I also use for penetration testing, by the way, that I use for ethical hacking. I've got my tools on here. I can use this laptop on the plane. No questions, nothing, right? And I'm also allowed to take devices like this on the airplane. Nobody's stopping me, nobody's asking questions, nobody's wondering what it is. It goes through the scanner, nobody's asking questions. Now, this one also looks like a harmless charger, right? No, it's not a harmless charger. This guy right here is dangerous. This tiny thing has its own Wi-Fi, its own web server, can inject keystrokes, can send and receive keystrokes. Something else, the OMG cable. Many people know this already. But you're letting me take the rubber ducky on the airplane, the OMG cable on the airplane, my Wi-Fi pineapple on the airplane, my People Zero on the airplane. Like, seriously? Why would you be letting me take all these without asking questions? I mean, I'm not using them for malicious purposes. I use them for research and for penetration tests. Nevertheless, the people at the airport don't know what I use them for, so I expect them to ask questions. But nobody asked me any questions. Do I just look that trustworthy? Okay, sure. Again, I'm not going to use them for malicious purposes. I use them with authorization on targets that I'm allowed or authorized to, but that's not the same for everybody who has them, right? Some of these devices can be used to intercept the Wi-Fi connection on the plane, and they can start collecting or spying on other users using the Wi-Fi on the plane. Depending on the device you get, you might also be able to clone ID cards or clone some kind of other cards, you know, through the RFID chip and use that to access restricted areas on the plane. Depending on how you can combine all these as well. After you gain unauthorized access to restricted areas on the plane, you can then use another device to plug into USB ports that are available or some other kind of interface available to sniff data, then have that as a plug and play or command and control. Command and control in the sense that once you plug in that device into a certain port, you can go back to your seat and then you start controlling that device from your laptop in your seat. But as far as the airline people or the air hosts and hostesses are concerned, you're just working on your laptop. Many of them wouldn't know what you're doing. They may not understand it. They might just think you're doing your work, but you're interacting with some devices that you've plugged in restricted areas. Yeah, a lot of dangerous things can be done. You can time some of them to activate in your box, even though it's in the basement, depending on how strong the wireless signal is on those devices and how you've configured the power to run. You might leave it active. You might control certain things from right in the bag's compartment. So they are dangerous, they can cause a lot of harm. I'm not saying they should ban them from being used on a plane. Of course, why would you use this on a plane? But from being taken on a plane or being taken along with you to fly, I do think questions should be asked. I think they should be declared when necessary, and adequate justification should be provided if you're traveling with them and taking them on the plane. Planes are not things to toy with. They are not things you joke with. On the train, you can still quickly jump out and ask people to run out of the train or a car. They can do that, or a bus or a plane. Where they run into if they use devices like this to cause trouble. And yes, I know they check for bomb making stuff. If your liquid container is more than 100 ml, yeah, don't take it on the plane. Different things like that. But these guys are also as dangerous, if not more dangerous, because they are not devices you would suspect at all. The bomb making ones or the radioactive ones, they are easy to detect, right? But these ones, there's no radioactive energy or whatever to detect. It's just harmless.